Yo.
On this episode of My Mic Sounds Nice, we get into some issues facing our community. A racist man walks around, instigating people looking for a reaction. He winds up shooting a black person who responds. Why won't they just leave us alone? The Republicans have split up the voting power of the black community throughout the South. New Orleans and Memphis are the latest victims as black representation will likely disappear in those states. They played the Uno reverse card on us. I guess black votes do matter. How many albums are too many to release in one day? Drake tests the limits with 3 albums released on May 15th. Then we close things out with the Robinson Report.
Welcome to My Mic Sounds Nice, a freestyle conversation about health, relationships, and culture. Once again, it's your boy Tim. Always glad to be in the building.
My mic sounds nice. This is Kevin, aka Reggie Jacks, coming from the Bronx. What's up, y'all? Thanks for being with us.
My mic sounds nice. Kev, I ducked it for a day, but look at my phone. Oh, you can't see it.
You got
The Iceman.
Oh, you know what? They said apparently Spotify says that's a disco ball for their 20th anniversary.
Yeah. Okay.
It looked like ice on my Spotify thing.
Looks like ice on mine too.
But it is Spotify's 20th anniversary.
Yeah. Now they said it was the disco ball. I'm like,
looks convenient. Convenient.
Yeah. That's you know why? Because if they do that, if they say that's for Iceman, every other artist on earth is gonna Spotify app will be changing every week.
my child said to me that's a disco ball because he saw the news. I said, that don't look like no disco ball. Then he said, well, you were around during disco. I said, yo, I was like under 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Kids
like
are disrespectful.
It's nothing like your kid to just be disrespectful. We should make diss records to the youth.
Yeah. Yo, not to mention, honestly, if you want to make it a disco ball, you honestly couldn't make it silver everywhere, and then just leave the black lines empty. Like you could really make it a disco ball completely.
And disco ball with the light turns different colors.
Yes.
So
I mean, or why does the 20th anniversary get a disco ball? Would be the other question.
Yeah, because
that's the greatest question. Yeah,
because 06, if anything, Spotify should have just turned it to a TI symbol. Because 06 wasn't disco.
Yeah,
like 06 was my man saying he's the king of the South. Bring him out, bring him out. It's hard to yell with the barrel in your mouth. I might be off a year or two, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it definitely wasn't disco.
Yeah. Shout out to the T.I. show. I never seen him until that thing in Yankee Stadium, and I was like, wow.
No doubt.
I should have had more respect for the guy.
No doubt. Yeah, like
and I do respect him, and I should have had more.
Yeah, no doubt. He held it down in a major way. So, all right. Let's get in.
All right, so we got this racist dude walking around Tennessee, Chud the Builder. His whole thing is about filming and instigating people.
Tennessee.
So he'll go out, approach people, film them, call them racist names, racist tropes, trying to get them to respond. And I don't know what his ultimate game was, but just this week he got somebody to respond and wound up pulling out a gun and shooting him. You know, he was just arrested last week or the week before from running out on a bill. He was doing racist stuff in the restaurant. They challenged him. They threw him out. He left without paying a $400 tab, then wound up getting arrested. So he's
had a bad week.
Yeah.
The mother of his child called him up and said, I want to change my child's last name because you're essentially, scarring him and marking him in society. So I want to change his last name. So guy's in bad shape. We really, at My Mic Sounds Nice, have no desire to talk about what he does, what he says, and how people respond. But I only want to talk about this because I think there's some undertones about race that are worthy of discussion. Now, the first thing I'll ask, just on a surface level, that I'll pass to Kev first, then Tim. He's really like the first racist streamer, in the sense of instigation, do you think we're going to see others? Like, did he open a door for a new type of streamer?
I think they already exist, and they kind of play and they dabble in the racist stuff online, saying racist things, pushing the edge. You got that young kid Neon who was running.
But I'm talking about out in public. I'm saying out. You know how you have to.
Public. Absolutely. I mean, people do reaction things all the time. So why not do it for race? And I'm gonna do it in these stand your ground states where I can potentially shoot somebody if they act up. That's the win-win for them.
Yeah. Only reason I say that is because, or ask the question, is because we have the influencers who hit people or do pranks on people, and that's gone to the nth degree where anybody does it. But race is that third rail. Do you think you're gonna see that, Tim? I'm not so sure after this.
I would hope that at some point there would really be guidelines or guardrails that people really adhere to. But we're old enough to, and we've lived long enough to see that for the laugh, for the views, people are willing to do anything. And so then at some point we got to begin to ask ourselves, why are we finding all of this so entertaining? Why are we being so drawn in? Because if he wasn't such a successful streamer, nobody would care. And to Kev's point, I think what he's doing from a stream standpoint is the same as you'll see a lot of skits on Instagram, or you'll see a lot of things where people are like, oh, this must be AI, or this couldn't be real, but this person is out here trying to do it in real time. The only one, well, not necessarily a positive, but is letting this younger generation, who for a lot of them felt that race was not as much of an issue. I would be in those conversations where it's like, yo, race is your thing. We don't deal with that the same way anymore. Well, hello. Now how we deal with it may be totally different, because the way people deal with race now will not be the individuals who are on your shirt.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Do youth say that to you, that they deal with race differently than we did? Or they feel like it's actually a difference?
It's that in some instances it's not the same issue, or the way that, honestly, I may feel about it being almost 60 is different for a 20-something year old. Now, part of it may be how they grew up, because, I mean, for example, Kev, our children grew up, well, I say for me, my children grew up in a more diverse area here in Montgomery County in Maryland than I grew up in Brooklyn, or my wife grew up in the Bronx. So that in and of itself sometimes can create difference in attitudes. It hasn't been a debate about whether it exists, but just the attitude of it, which would then lead to younger people maybe not seeing it as much as the third rail as you were saying it is.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because this speaks to what you're talking about, and how we react to race. One thing that Chud would say to justify himself is that it's only words. I'm allowed to say words, and people shouldn't react to being called the N-word and things of that nature. My retort is that all beefs start with words, all reactions start with words. But I want to ask you, Tim, first, and then you, Kev. What is an appropriate response in 2026 to someone calling you a racial epithet? Like, is it okay to be upset and, want to respond verbally, or are we supposed to just keep it moving and let it roll off our back? Like, what is, obviously, no one wants anybody to do anything physical, but are you allowed to have an emotional response in 2026? Like, how do we handle that as a society? What would be good for our young people? I mean, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Like,
I mean, look, obviously, you could have whatever response you want to it. You could be angry. I go back to, the first time I remember being called it. Like, people, I grew up upstate, so there's not many black people where I lived, where I grew up, and it would happen. People might drive by the car, yell, I'd be like, "Wait, did I just hear that?" But that didn't bother me as much. The first time it really, really bothered me was I was coming back from the state track meet, and we stopped for food in Binghamton, and coming out the Pizza Hut, we ate in Pizza Hut. Coming out the Pizza Hut, this dude said the N-word to me, and I was just like, that was the first time I was just really just angry, wanted to fight this man, which was good because I think I was going off to Howard 2 months later. So, but I say that to say, yeah, I might want to fight, and I might want to get angry. I would have been better if I just said something and just kept it pushing. But these people want reactions. These people they're doing these things to stand your ground states. He's not coming to Bed-Stuy to do this. Well, not Bed-Stuy. I don't matter anymore. He's not going to East New York to do this.
Facts. No, I think that to your point, and it's really layered that, okay, the justification is I'm free to say whatever it is that I want to say, but yet I am not free to feel how what you're saying makes me feel.
Yeah.
So we've already started at where there's no balance here.
Yeah.
And we live in a society where the reaction oftentimes gets punished more, gets amplified, and then it's like, well, why are you letting it bother you? Well, why did my man say it?
Yeah.
And so
and why is it, real quick, why is it race that people judge your response, but they wouldn't judge your response to somebody curse you out, in a parking lot?
Exactly. So it just shows that, okay, it's 2026. America is celebrating 250th anniversary. And as we're talking later in the show, that honestly, race is presenting itself in a way that is heightened, that is taking people backwards as opposed to forwards. I can honestly say, like, to your question, that sometimes I pride myself on not having the answers, just asking more questions.
Yeah.
I don't really know if I was a young person, like, okay, if we all met at 18, and we came from different experiences. I don't know how I would grapple with race if in my middle to high school years I had a black president.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then following that black president had Trump.
The polar opposite.
Like, you know what I mean? That's like, because you think about some of the old white men we saw. Yeah. Like, we didn't see
the Strom Thurmonds.
But they weren't president.
Yeah.
You know, so and so I don't know how. And then especially if those two things were happening as I was coming of age, where people are proclaiming that we are in a post-racial society.
Yeah.
But then things that are happening are inherently racist. Like, you think about it, that's like you're seeing one is bringing tears to your eyes of joy, and wonder. One is bringing tears to your eyes of what in the world, and then in between that, we're seeing cops kill people.
Yeah.
So it's really, I just try to listen, and where I can provide some insight, but understanding that it is a lot to grapple with, where you have honestly these, most of the time, these streamers coming out of left field and then just becoming so popular for just antagonizing.
Yeah.
To me, Tim, and that's an excellent point. I think that what we're missing is Chud the Builder has an audience. Chud the Builder has fans. Chud the Builder has people donating to his GoFundMe to get him out of jail.
Over $100 grand in one day.
At this moment right now. So Chud the Builder is a symptom of what society is and where we are right now. You know, I don't want to. He's who he is. He's that person. He brings whatever honor or shame to the family, however they want to look at it. I don't really care about that. But the fact that there are people out here that are liking his content.
Yeah.
Millions of people there.
As we transition, can I swing for the fences and people can agree, disagree? This man has an audience, just like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Had an audience.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is so much emphasis. It's almost like there's so much emphasis on the mic. And I get it, but that mic is amplified by how many people, how many, because you know what I mean? Because hey, if you go on tour and every stadium is empty, y'all dealt in the business. At some point, that tour gets canceled.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I appreciate, I just had a couple of questions, and I appreciate you guys answering for me. I definitely think that race, we're living in a time where everything is being turned on its head. Racism isn't against Black people; it's against white males. Are being discriminated against. We're not supposed to have any feelings towards being called racist terms where our ancestors were hanged and killed while they were hearing those words, or our slave ancestors were living, being called those words every day.
And hey, let me just say one thing as we go. I think perception around the word ancestor takes it too far back to make people
understand.
We're talking about 50, 60 years. Yeah. Like
we can easily say our parents, our grandparents.
I was about to say that I could sit here and I could say ancestors, but you're not thinking my mom and dad who was born in 41 and 42, Jim Crow, Suffolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
Like you understand what it's like. Technically, in the grand scheme of things, they are an ancestor, but I think the propaganda makes you think like, why are you still holding on to it? That's so far ago. Where it's like, nah, like there are people who are in their 80s now, who have lived through what we're talking about in real time. So I just wanted to
I appreciate that. What do we got next, Kev?
All right, next, we know after the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act a couple of weeks ago, we had mentioned that in a previous episode. Several southern states immediately started to draw new districts to ensure that the Black urban areas would not be represented, that their interests would no longer be represented. So they cut Memphis into 3 different districts. They just split it apart, long things out into the rural areas. And they did the same thing in Louisiana. They actually stopped the voting in Louisiana. They'd already started early voting. They threw out 45,000 votes. And you know what? New map. We're going to do this again. And from that, there's a lot of responses. People are angry about it. One of the suggestions was that because this is in the Southeastern Conference, the southern part of America, where we have the states with the highest percentage of Black residents live, like in places like Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, they were like, we shouldn't go to those states to play football, to play athletes, because those are like big juggernaut sports organizations, sports schools. And so they're saying that kids shouldn't go there. I'm just going to talk about that. The Voting Rights Acts and the response.
All right. I'll say this. I love the idea because of the power the SEC has, what the interest that Southern right wing white men feel about the SEC, their schools that they all went to, and theoretically, I think it is a great strategic response. My problem or my concern with this is that, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, and people can correct us in the chat if I'm wrong. I don't know any students or any football players that this originates from. And I've been part of boycotts, and they have to originate from that pool. Smart Black activists can't get young men in the SEC to risk giving up their scholarship, their future, because let's remember the SEC is a pipeline to the NFL. So these are essentially future pro players that would be jeopardizing their careers. So that type of movement would have to come from the SEC and from the young men. And in my research, I couldn't find any origin or any SEC players that felt that way. So while I think it's a great idea, if it could be pulled off, ultimately, I think young black athletes should go back to HBCUs anyway, the way it was back in the day, and just fix it that way permanently. I think it's hard to ask them to do it, and I don't know that it can happen.
When you're talking about, there was a couple of comments that Lane Kiffin, who's now the coach at LSU, made, taking shots at Ole Miss, like just kind of having conversations with recruits where it would be a little problematic to be like, I don't know if I want my boy in Oxford, but going down to Louisiana, sign me up.
And you can still call it Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, SEC stands for Southeastern Conference. It also could stand for Southern Evangelical Church.
Yeah.
And to your point, I would say maybe not for the ones who are already there, but if you are a high school student, because yes, the SEC is massive, so is the Big Ten right now.
Yeah.
That you could go other places and still generate, NIL and all of those things. Like, I mean, the SEC is huge, and I get it that the SEC, if there was a boycott of the SEC, it would get noticed. There would be conversations. Yes. Honestly, if it was one of the schools, like your LSU's, your Alabama,
if you take out of Alabama or Georgia,
like those schools where, like you said, is white men for generations. that is there, but I just think that it's something that probably won't happen, but it is for us to really look at what is happening in the South. Looking at the story of the voting, like if you've ever been to Memphis is black, and I mean, so you're seeing these things happening in very real time. Where I'll say this, and Kev, love to hear from you. I'll be honest and vulnerable, that there was a time when you would hear about certain things that was happening, and it almost would be like, okay, is this a conspiracy, or is this somebody who's just so, coming from a Pan-African, almost what would be viewed as militant point of view, Whereas now this joint is so blatant, so open. It's
Yeah.
just look at the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because both of you all are in Black Nia Force, and there would be certain things that you all would study and learn from your meetings that then you would communicate to the broader campus community, and people would be like, what? Huh? And then you would have to dig.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that anymore. Like, it is right here in your face, and that is kind of like, okay, how do we process that? And
Yeah.
and the story in Louisiana, they were talking about a group of older Black men, like in their 80s and 90s, who had protested and marched for the Voting Right Act in the 60s.
That's wild.
So this is how we were saying in the last segment, that it's like ancestors are one thing. There are still people living among us. So it's like, yo.
Now they got to run it back, reorganize. And
Yeah, but just like, I'm 91. I still remember getting hit with a billy club for this. And what? So that for me, like, that's where it's like, okay, what happens? And then honestly, I mean, our movements of latter day didn't get started with people in our age range. AARP has not been the front line of a movement.
I can't run as well as I used to.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know, I'm gonna take it from a couple of different. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, it's up to the parents deciding where you want to send your kids. And, you know, hopefully you've instilled something in your child where they'd be like, okay, that's not for me. If you're that type of family, then you're not going to do that. I go back to, you know, Florida A&M. My family has a long history of Florida A&M. My mother's from Florida. My sister graduated from Florida A&M. My daughter went to Florida A&M. My uncle went to Florida A&M. When we're looking at schools, my son is like, DeSantis, I'm not messing with Florida. You know, this is the time when he was going after Disney and everything. He's just like, nah, that's not for me. And just walk straight past Florida A&M every time, every college fair, what have you, because that was what was instilled in him. I think that I don't want to ask these kids to do something that the adults aren't doing. I'm a firm believer in the adults have to be adults so the children can be children. I don't hear you telling me we're not going to Essence Fest. I don't hear you telling me we're not boycotting other areas. I don't want to tell you whatever events, whatever things we got going on in New Orleans, whatever we got going on in Tennessee. I don't hear the adults talking about we're not doing that. Like I don't know the Divine Nine where their conferences are this year, but they shouldn't be anywhere in any of these states. And
he cooking, right, Tim?
Adults, do the adult thing, man.
Reggie,
don't ask the kids
in the
to do
building.
It.
Yes, I love it.
That's basically it.
If this our last show, we went out in the blaze. I'm with it. Yo.
He said we shouldn't have a Black Conference Plaster Mason Dixon line. Like, yo. And he ain't wrong.
Hey.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, they destroying our community on purpose. Imagine, think for a second, right? I live in the Bronx. What if they carved up this district, you know, the Bronx, the poorest congressional district in the country? What if they decided to carve up this district and run my joint all the way up to Westchester, Putnam County, Ulster? I don't even know all the damn counties above Westchester. But, you know,
yes.
what if we just run it up? So now I'm grouped with a bunch of rural people. We don't have the same political interests. We don't have the same thing. So why am I
problems? Yeah,
we don't have the same political problems. We don't have our same infrastructure problems. So why would I be grouped with these people?
Yeah. And then on the flip side, how could you really effectively represent such a diverse
group?
Like let's keep it a buck.
Yeah,
we all went to Howard University. It was challenging for one particular leader, and I'm not saying a particular leader from a name standpoint. Think of how small DC is and the challenge to really represent the needs for the livelihood just in the city.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, Southside needs something different than upper Northwest.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's so blatant that for ever we've had a census every 10 years, and then we've did our dirty gerrymandering. And because Donald Trump doesn't want to lose power over the Senate and the House, because they would have subpoena power, they'd be able to control Congress. He would definitely be a lame duck president at that point. He is willing to just forsake every norm and to be writing up states right now the way he's done it in the middle of the decade. You're probably going to have this occur every 4 years whenever it's suitable for a president, all because of Donald Trump.
I mean, I don't know if you saw some of the actions in Tennessee. There was this one white representative. He came in. He was wearing a Trump flag with some craziness on it. They were laughing. They were smirking, literally laughing and smirking at the people, Justin Jones, Justin, and the other people who were fighting against it. Like it's blatant and they don't care. And this looks to me, from the history that I know, this looks like videos and things that I've seen from the 50s.
No,
one of the dudes did a play on segregation now, segregation. What is it? Segregation yesterday, today, forever. Like one of the dudes did a play on that in his speech.
Yeah, no, honestly, for the governor of Louisiana on 60 Minutes to be like, yeah, we threw out the votes like you talked about earlier. After people, he's like, well, what are you gonna do with those votes? Well, those people will vote again. Like to say
with
that
a smirk on his face,
with a straight face, and not even have a good argument during the interview. It's like it didn't even matter. He's like, yeah, I can't really explain why we're doing this, but
can I just say now this is when I'm really gonna get mad. Y'all said there were certain people you didn't want to vote for because of whatever problematic thing you had in their past for president. Whether it was emails, whether it was throwing people in jail for drugs, whether it was the crime bill, all of these different things, you said you're no longer voting for harm reduction. If there's only two candidates and there's only two viable candidates, you got to be real, man. You got to vote on somebody. And the problem with our community is, one, not enough of us have participated in the vote. And when we vote, we think that's where it stops. Yeah. You're not doing anything. You're doing nothing. Of course, somebody's going to take advantage of you because you're just throwing them their money, which is your vote, and walking away. Why would they pay attention to you? You want to get paid attention to? You continue to pressure them. You continue to show up for votes, show up for council meetings. You start from a young age. You start from young in the city council, in your community council, and you build yourself up. That's what Republicans did for 50 years. And look at where we are now. They got this bench of crazies. And we think they're crazy, but they got wave after wave after wave. And what do we got? Writing strongly worded letters.
Yeah, this is the last thing, and then we'll move on. But I was in a barbershop yesterday arguing over why we should vote. And in my disagreement, I'm talking to my barber and about 5 or 6 other guys, maybe 7 or 8. And I'm saying to them, like, what you just said, Kev, you have to call your congressperson. Like, my barber, like, oh, Black people don't have time to reach out to their congressperson. I'm like, you can make a phone call. Yeah, I was like, all you have to do is call and express your concerns about XYZ, or wait till they come home from Congress and you can go see them in office hours. They was like, see your congressperson? How you gonna go see your congressperson? I'm like, man, I was just with Gregory Meeks 3 years ago in his office talking about, trying to get a sickle cell bill passed. That got passed. I was like, this can be done. And I bring this up because our people really, really don't know. They think that they can't call their congressman. They think that they can't go in the office and arrange meetings. And there was a reverend there who agreed with me, and he was like, and if you got enough power, the politician will come to you. If you have enough sway. So to build on your point, our Congress and other elected political figures are accessible to us. Much more than you ever think.
And we got to make demands. You got demands. You want work. You got to demand stuff from them.
And anyone can make a phone call.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right.
Now, the day we've been waiting for. I know it's spring. I know it's warm. But the Iceman came on May 15th.
There's a cold front. There's a cold front here.
There's a cold front. That's right. Drake released 3 albums on May 15th, titled PTSD 1, PTSD 2, and PTSD 3.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No, my bad. I play.
Yo.
He produced 3 different albums. Iceman, which was 18 tracks. It was his Unabomber manifesto against the industry.
Let me edit this. I gotta edit this Iceman. Go ahead. Y'all talk.
Then we got Habibi T. It's 11 tracks of R&B leaning Drake-ness. Then we got Maid of Honor, 14 tracks. It was his dance and party album. That's when he was quintessential Drake. 43 songs for your oral pleasure. Oral. A-U-R-A-L.
I had to put the Iceman all in caps. I had to do right by my man. I had to fix the Iceman.
So
put it all in caps.
So I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen.
This is not a
review. This is not a review. We're not doing album reviews. We come from an old era. We come from an old era, doing things, doing reviews, Source and other stuff. And even as young people, even before the Source, we didn't really talk about an album. We listened to it multiple times. Like back in the day, like, yo, what'd you think? Y'all only listened to it once. I only listened to it twice. I can't really give you an opinion. Like, we walked the streets of DC.
You gotta live with it.
Yeah. We walked the streets of DC for 2 to 3 weeks before we would really say, okay, now I got a thing on the album.
So we're not gonna disservice Drake by trying to be first, but we can give our initial impressions.
There you go. So this is the initial impressions.
Yeah. And because it's 47 songs, we're only gonna give out initial impressions of Iceman. Well, if anyone else wants to comment on the other 2,
I'm about to say I only did homework for Iceman. So
I'll go for.
I had spreadsheet work, so I listened to all 3.
Yeah. So you good.
I don't know if them spreadsheets balanced. Whoever your clients are, they might need to check your math.
Double check.
But like this was during the R&B section. Like they know.
Yeah. Like I told my brother Lou Romaine, who is from that Universal family. And love Drizzy Drake.
From the Young Money family.
Yeah, from the Young Money family, yeah. And love Drizzy Drake. His bars, his lyrics are very good. He's doing some spitting. The production I felt was really, really good. It was top notch. The beats per minute on this album, it's like you averaged it. It's got to be like 89 beats a minute or something, man. Like there's no energy on this album. And in terms of speed of beats, because, and I know that's part of the culture now is to slow down the beats per minute, but there's no variety. And when there's no variety, you begin to create a overall mood, and maybe that's intentional on his part, but I would have liked more variance in the beats per minute. And the last thing, Kev joked about the PTSD, but I think we said this on this show, probably all of us at some point in time. I really wish he would have just not cared about Kendrick, not cared about Jay-Z, his enemies, nobody. uh, I think his greatest revenge, because he seems to be focused on revenge, would have been his success and just win. And him winning would have spoken more volume, was would have spoken volumes more than anything else, anything he could say. So I wish he had taken that tact. He didn't. But I thought, like, when he talked about his father having cancer, like, that's the type of stuff like that. I think if he had leaned more into that, like, those things touch people much more in a way than there's one point on one of the songs he talks about uh rap as being toxic, or being no good or whatever. And then the next verse he's talking about, I have uh my man P's Chains, uh, from what's my man's name? The
Pharrell.
Pharrell. It's like, yo, you got Pharrell Chains, and if you're talking about rappers being toxic, that's toxic behavior also. So those type of things, I just wish he would have stayed away from. But the bars are there. Right now, I don't get the feeling that I'm gonna think this is a great album, but I think I probably will enjoy it more the more I listen.
What say you, Reggie Jacks?
Um, having listened to all three, I felt like he did a Republican move and he just flooded the zone. Going before it started, I was like, I don't want to hear a whole album of his just grievances of his angry, because I think he's a talent. And I was trying to make the argument the other day. I said, I know the hip hop has its origins in battling one another, but if all we did was battle, we would never be where we are in 2026. We started battling, then it turned into actually creating songs, structure, ideas, concepts. And Drake is a phenomenal talent. Even though if he's not my cup of tea, Drake is a phenomenal talent. And I want him to continue to sharpen that sword and do those things. And so I didn't want a whole album of grievances. So I guess in some ways, I'm glad he produced other songs to show it's not all grievances and it's only stuck to this particular thing. I agree with you, A. Yeah, there was some stuff that was he contradicts himself all the time. I care, I don't care. Doesn't seem to be with self-awareness. Like, like if you're gonna contradict yourself, I wish you would be like, yeah, I know I'm contradicting myself, or I know I need help. He doesn't do it, so it doesn't come across as authentic. It comes across as, brother, you need some help. I thought his best song was "Make Them Remember." The lyrics, he was going after people. He was witty. He had some line where he talked about people are ducking me, like ducking Drake or something, and a female duck. I'm sorry, an adult male duck is called a Drake. So some wittiness in there. Then he had a line in "Firm Friends," which I didn't like. I felt like that was the worst song in all. And in there, he told ASAP to kill himself. KYS ASAP was the line that he used. And I know we're not talking about it right now, but in the mental health month, don't think that's cool. Don't think that should have passed whatever standards and practices. But overall, it was Drake being Drake. I'm sure his fans are going to be happy. He gave everybody something.
To build off of what you were saying about hip hop beginning with the battle and competition, and it wouldn't be where it is today if we stayed there. I feel like we are hip hop fans, but we're older. And so now you have artists that represent multiple generations. There were points in the album where he talked about, I'm about to turn 40.
Yeah.
So forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm going to hold a 40-year-old to a different level of enlightenment than a 25-year-old. So when we talk about early hip hop being all about the battle, because we're old enough to remember when there was a time that pretty much all of your most popular MCs were in their 20s. And think about the battling we did in our late teens, early 20s. So that piece is there. Hey, you said what it was in my head, but I love the language about the BPMs being slower. That because for me, I was like, yo, there is a energy that Drake used to have that I'm not hearing. And it's because you can't give that forever energy. You can't give that Young Money Drake to beats that are 88, 89 BPM. So that was something that was different. He got bars. Like anybody who want to say Drake can't rhyme, you're not a student of lyrics. Like that's not even we're not going to have that conversation. You could say you hate Drake.
Yeah.
And if you feel that way, fine. But you cannot say you are a hip hop head and you understand figurative language and bars and then say Drake doesn't have any. Nah. Nope. No. Ain't gonna do it. We're not gonna go there. So for me, the one song that I really liked was Make Them Pay. I liked it because they used the I just want to be free. The Denise Williams, like he flipped that joint. And then when he
didn't Rhapsody do that? She
I think she did as well. But when he said I was Aiden Ross before Aiden Ross, and then went on Khaled about the beef was alive, but now you allow. I was like, oh, okay. First of all, I had to go look up Aiden Ross. So then it's like the whole thing about the streams and other things like that. I will say from a battle standpoint, the timing, because yes, like I can't think of another battle where the response comes out almost 18 months after the heat of it. That would be like me and A are in the ring.
Actually, it's 2 years after.
Yeah, like 2 years after, I'm still in the ring. A went off and done some other things, but I'm just like, yo, I'm coming back at Lloyd like I'm Pretty Boy Floyd, and the whole crowd emptied out. You're like,
it's like my man at Howard. I'm not gonna use no names. It was like, yo, he shot at me. When did he shoot at you?
Yeah. So it's like, when did this happen? Like, yo, it's like a month ago. Like, I mean, so imagine this is years later. To a point where you like, then it becomes like, okay, it's all coded and who's this and who's that. So I think that over time that just took away from it, but it definitely had some lyrical highlights. The production became monotonous.
You think so?
Yeah.
To me,
there was a lot of beat switches. What'd you think about the beat switches in there? Because I felt like there was a lot of beat switches on there.
But see, to me, the beats, I feel like a beat switch works if your delivery shifts. Because to me, the greatest beat shift is Meek Mill Dreams and Nightmares.
Right, yeah.
That's like, okay, you was rocking on that one way, but then when that beat changed,
this is ironic. After I finished to the album, the Spotify algorithm, after I finished Iceman, the very next song it played was Dreams and Nightmares.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, because he goes from, all right, y'all ready? Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Then, hold up, wait a minute. Yeah. Like the beat was changing with Drake, and he just kind of stayed monotone. Like, and I know that's part of his style, but and the last thing I'll say was interesting. I was texting my son who's out of the country, who grew up on Drake. So I'm like, yo, you listen to the albums yet? He's like, yo, Pop, there's 3 of them. I was like, yo, listen to Iceman first. And then he hits me with like, yo, I heard he dissed LeBron.
So, I know that.
My son is a diehard LeBron. LeBron has been in the league since my son was 4, and he's still playing. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
None of us have experienced
that
our favorite player
all our lives
from pre-K 4 through college. Like, you think about it, those of us who are Michael Jordan crazy,
yeah,
you got the 90s. I mean,
Isaiah is going to be like, I don't understand sports without LeBron. Like, it doesn't compute to me. It doesn't make sense.
That it's like, I don't know basketball. Literally, like, and that's crazy that he's almost 27. I don't know basketball without my favorite player.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you're 3 years from 30. He was doing this when you was in pre-K 4. What is that? Pre-kindergarten. Yeah. So, but then his thing was like, yo, if people switched up, then that's just what it is. So it kind of went into the loyalty thing. So I'll be interested to hear what are his thoughts about the album, because for a lot of younger people, they cared about the battle with him and Kendrick, but maybe not to the same degree that some of us who were older were like, yo, because we have historical battles, that context, where for Gen Z, most of the battles ended up in murder.
Yeah.
Like, you really think about it, that it's
they weren't really hip-hop battles.
They really didn't grow up experiencing hip-hop battles at its finest.
Yeah.
So what is your thoughts about the Drake going after people who he felt were silent? Like, he's mad at people that were silent.
I
didn't publicly support him.
Kev, I'm glad you asked that question. I didn't mean to jump all over it.
I'm
sorry. I just have obviously a strong feeling. What are we in high school? Like, that is what you do in high school. They are in the music industry where relationships are everything. There's always a situation, always has been before this battle, where I am friends with you and you have a relationship with somebody I really got a problem with. And I just find it amazing that Drake is like, if you wasn't on my side, you over there. If you went to a concert, you over there. If you commented about my situation, you over there. If you didn't return my phone call, you over there. Like,
Aaron,
can I say you lost Drake and still be your friend? I can tell you, Kev. I can tell you, Kev, you lost and still be your friend.
As you're talking, I'm starting to think, I know the Drake and Michael Jackson comparisons. Please stop.
Yes, stop.
Please stop. Anybody, I know some people are young, and I know I don't want to be like an old man or old geezer. Y'all have no idea how big Michael Jackson was. Words can't even begin to express. Whoever you think is your biggest person,
yes,
Taylor Swift on tour, whatever, the Swiftie, multiply that by 10 across the globe. But there is something I will say about Drake. Because he was acting a star in Degrassi, a little Canadian star and other things, maybe he never really grew out of it. He didn't have that developmental cycle to really grow up and mature, because he seems to be stuck in a particular area. Like, this music sounds a lot like the previous music. It's grievances against a particular person. There was always grievances in his music, but you know what I'm saying? It's not that growth where he's talking about, I'm coming up on 40, but I'm not seeing kind of growth, maturity, reflection. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I learned. So.
I think it's the grievances, and it's on the one hand, you're like, oh, I'm the biggest artist in the world, but then I still am talking like, in my inner child, I still don't know if I really fit in. It's kind of like, on one hand, everybody's screaming my name, but am I really at the cool kids table? No, I had to buy my own table, hire my own friends, but then am I really, am I really still down? And I think, to me, that is that feeling of like, are we still in high school? Because you can't say that this is a business and then people were silent because of business deals and relationships and things that was at stake. And part of this may be that some of those allegations, whether they prove to be true or not, that Kendrick made, crossed the line, because let's be real, because in the heat of the battle, if I still say I'm riding with Drake, oh, so you're riding with a pedophile. I mean, understand social media and cancel culture, and people will take one thing and run with it to create a narrative that, so
I mean, it's okay for other artists to say, you know what, I don't want any of this shrapnel in my career. I didn't ask for it. I'm not involved in it. I have no stake in it. So I'm going to stand on the sideline. I'll be your friend, but I'm not going to publicly stand up to say, hey, shoot some bullets over here. And I think that's okay. And like the judge in the defamation trial said, you asked for it. You said in the song previous, say I like girls
Talk about I liking young girls.
Yeah, like, I mean, you literally said it, so he did it. So it's kind of weird that
J. Cole catches a shot.
Yeah, even J. Cole, because he wants to not get in, like, it's just.
But his fans like, will be happy.
Yeah, I think some of them will be happy. I don't think I think people expected like a certified banger. Like, I honestly thought Iceman, with all the preparation, shooting all the videos, the book that he put out, all the cryptic stuff that he's been doing for months for Iceman, I really thought that I was going to get something that I would listen to once and would be like, wow, that's incredible.
You was going to get death certificate?
Yes. Like, with the first listen out the gate, I really thought I was going to get that. Yeah. And the reason I think I don't have that is because he put out 3 albums because he's trying to get out of a contract. And I'm sorry, but whoever decided to put out the 3 albums at once allowed him to make a major, major mistake. I don't care if he's been recording since the beef. It's a bad idea to put out 3 albums at once. It's just a bad idea.
I'd say it's a bad idea in this current climate where people have been trained to have such a short attention span.
Yeah.
I mean, because there was a time.
I think in 76 is a bad idea.
Well, I will say that on Apple Music, I saw it on Twitter. I don't have Apple Music, but it said that virtually all of his songs, he had 40 songs on the top 60.
In the top 60 of something like that. Yeah, I saw
that. That was weird. So I don't have Apple Music. I went to Spotify and I checked on the global Spotify and the US Spotify list, and he had 0 songs on the top 50. So I was like,
Yeah.
But the Spotify symbol was a disco ball.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, we'll either give you the spot or the symbol. You can't have both.
Yeah. He's like, I'll take the symbol.
But you know, overall, Drake fans, the day came, May 15th. You're here. You're good.
I wish him nothing but the best. I know what I get on Drake. I just want him to be at peace as a man. I really do. And I think it will be reflected in the music. And I think he's such a prolific writer that if he opened up a side of him that wasn't
reflective side,
wasn't steeped in
some therapy.
No, I think he's reflective, but it's steeped in bitterness. If he was reflective and it wasn't steeped in bitterness, not hurt, because hurt can be a great place to create music.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what did I miss? I'm like, my man, I got the answer. What you missed? Like there's a like yeah. I don't even know you. There's a lot of stuff that you missed, and you said to still be missing. And I what the other day, and I'm gonna end with this for me. I called him. Even though I'm not a fan of Drake, I recognize how great he is and prolific, and I want him to do great music. And I compared him to Randy Moss. Phenomenal talent, and still had more space to grow, more to do. And that's how I look at Drake.
And could have been greater.
And I want to see that more.
My last thing would be, I would say, I would hope, or I wish I would have gotten someone who would have looked at what happened to him and how it happened and saw some fault of his own. And I might have, it might be on the album because I've only listened to it 1.5 times, and I might have missed the lyric, but I didn't hear any like, yo, here's where I went wrong. Because if he thinks people just turned up on him and flipped out, and he didn't do anything wrong, like it would have been really cool for him to say, yo, I messed up and did this with
the work that we all had to do when we're in relationships and the
Yes.
relationship breaks up. First we mad, then we got to look back and be like, well, maybe I could have did.
Yes, and I didn't hear any of that, and that's disappointing.
Yeah.
And that was a missed opportunity. But what's last word, Tim?
I just want to see people like that section, those late 30s, early 40s. I need to see them to really start thinking about hip hop and just start really, because it stop using this for your bit of journal writing and really.
Damn.
Because y'all are being listened to. Listen to people who are older than you, listening to people who are younger than you, and it's just. But it also lets me know that battle, there was things that was said and reactions that really hurt him.
Yeah,
Like really,
yeah, he's hurt.
really hurt him. But then it also goes to us. Like we started the show talking about, the audience that feeds off of racism. I don't know how I would feel if CNN was starting their show with a lyric that was talking about me. Like, I mean, I understand it's a difference when CNN is the lead. That's the lead story of CNN, you being dissed, versus us being in New York City. Like, yo, you heard Flex drop 10 Flex bombs on Ether.
Yeah,
like totally different. So
yeah, it's kind of like in Boston, how like New York sucks will break out any place.
Yeah.
In baseball, again, Yankees suck will break out, on the street, like all
or how the Knicks shut down the Philly when they got swept. It is so
I mean Drake, I could see him feeling like he's catching strays because the A-minor could break out at a baseball game at this and all types of stadiums, and he was like, "Yo,
it was international. Like Cats was he's not crossing the border." So, but
But a good friend would have told him. A good friend would have told that, "Hey, man, I love you, but here's why people feel this way."
It's only entertainment,
man.
Yeah.
All right. So now it is time. Finally, as we close things out, we're going to bring it to the Robinson Report. Those things that are giving you life.
Jigga.
Or making Reggie Jackson mad.
Jigga.
All right. I'm not gonna be mad today. Just so.
You're not?
All right.
Okay. I'm putting it out there.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna continue with music.
He said that with his whole chest. Like, yes. The rhythm, the rebel.
Guess who's back? Drake came back, but AZ came back too. Do or Die 3. Yeah, baby. AZ back for his third Do or Die.
The trilogy?
Yeah. And it's classic. It's classic AZ, man. Classic AZ. And he continues to what's her name? Ho Happy Jackie with a song Still Jackie. So wow.
He got a joint on there. He got a joint in there with Mumu Fresh, who I love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he gets up with his brother Nas again. On what's this joint called? Surprise. So if you liked AZ, if you like hip hop from the 90s, lyrics and beats that are over 95 beats a minute, check out Do or Die 3. So I had to listen to Drake, but I love listening to AZ. So that's my Robinson report.
All right. Want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my Robinson report is about my birthday twin. On May 19th on PBS, there's a documentary, W.E.B. Du Bois, Rebel Without a Cause. Rebel with a Cause. Tuesday, 9 p.m., May 19th. Check that out. For those that aren't familiar with W.E.B. Du Bois, he was born in 1868, February 23rd, 1868. He's the first African-American to receive a PhD from Harvard, used his pen, did all types of incredible work. He's one of the co-founders of the NAACP. He created the Crisis magazine, which was the Black internet of our time, for years. That's where you got the in-depth Black information from. And the greatest thing that he did, well, to me, one of the greatest things he did is he created unpacked double consciousness. How as Black people, we have to walk around as ourselves and then seeing how we look through the oppressor or the racist society's eyes, and just the toll that takes on being a Black person here in America. So check that out.
So that's Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, May 19th.
Yeah.
Rebel with a Cause.
May 19th. That's what's up. That's Malcolm's birthday.
Yep.
So mine, I was bouncing around. I'm gonna do two in like 30 seconds. One, I gotta shout out my brother, my hip-hop ed brother, Chris Emden.
Oh, nice.
Just new book, The Sacred Art of Teaching. And we are recording this on May 16th, which is his birthday. So shout out to my little big brother.
Happy birthday.
And the one cool thing about that book, it actually is a series of recorded discussions that then they transcribed and created a book. So I thought that was really cool.
Nice.
The second one is this actor on Instagram named Billy Calder, Calder. And he has what he has been doing on IG is, in his handle is Billy BILLYCALDER actor. So it's Billy Calder actor. He gives dramatic monologues of rap lyrics.
Oh yeah. I've seen him. Yeah.
And
fire.
To just hear it, it's dope. Like, I mean, it is really, there's some of them that he does that makes the lyrics just pop out in a whole different way. So I just wanted to shout him out. Of course, he does the Inspector Deck Triumph joint, which is classic. But then he did like Jay-Z Threat, and so but he brings them to life in a really different way. And since I do a lot of work around hip hop and in the education space, I just wanted to shout him out.
Yes.
That's what's up. Yeah, I came across one of his. I was like, wow, this is incredible.
I gotta check it out, because that's a genius idea. And
it's not doing it with a whole lot of fanfare. And honestly, to me, I feel like he's doing it in a way where, like, I like hip hop. I'm also an actor into theater, and I want to be able to bring these things together. And so I think that is cool.
That is honestly, to me, those are the best uses of social media in our world today, where people can take their creativity and merge it. And produce something that's never been done before. That's the best uses of social media. And I'm glad you pointed it out, Tim, because there's so many versions of the worst things you could do with social media. Yep. Another one done.
All right,
Tim. Take us out.
Yo, Once again, thank you for rocking with us. This is Tim. My mic sounds nice. Till next time, enjoy the great weather.
My mic sounds nice. This is Reggie Jack saying peace.
My mic sounds nice. This is A. In about 3 hours, I'm gonna be on a plane to the ATL. Go see my brothers down there. Peace, y'all.
Shout out to the class of 26.
Yes.
Shout out to the class of 26. The high schools will be graduated a little bit later, but we all got people that we know from college who graduated. And who knows, the next time we record in a couple of weeks, the Knicks could be heading to the finals.
Yes, yes.
Don't know. It could
Please,
be.
please.
It could be.
Yo.
Like, I bomb atomically Socrates philosophy.
Yo.
So we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? As we're going to go really lightning quick. Spurs or Thunder?
Spurs.
Wow. You think the Spurs going to take them?
I think the Spurs can take them.
I hope the Spurs take them because I know the Knicks can take the Spurs. We gonna push Wemby out to half court.
So, but yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good TV.
Who you got, Tim? Who you got?
I think the Spurs can do it, but if the Thunder is healthy, I think the Thunder's gonna get them.
Yeah, my man's back with his hammy. He said he's good.
Okay, so then I think the Thunder's gonna get him. I think, yeah. So, yep.
All right, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. Yeah, that was good.
You didn't
good show, yo. I did.